what's up, everyone? I hope everyone's doing well. We added a little intro in the beginning of this video, so we're slowly learning some very basic video editing stuff, which is kind of fun. And before we get started, it's been pretty cool to see and hear comments about people liking some of these videos. And it's really just something that I decided to do to have a little bit of fun and learn something and waste some time. But it's really cool that people have actually enjoyed this stuff and have asked me to do more. So if you have any requests for other videos you'd want me to do, just let me know. Without further ado, for this video, I wanted to keep it kind of short and share a trick that I like to use when trying to get open on a defender. It's not something that I use all the time, but it's definitely one that's nice to have in the bag. So this example here is the easiest example to show what the defender in particular is doing wrong and how to capitalize on it. My defender has decided to face the thrower and keep his back to me, which is essentially gifting me his blind spot. And the blind spot is basically that means okay. And what I mean by the blind spot is essentially I am completely behind him, out of his sight, even like his peripheral vision. He has essentially no idea when or how I'm going to set up my cut because I'm directly behind him. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make just one juke back into his peripheral vision to where he has to bite on that one juke. And then I'm going to go back into his blind spot and cut the other way. So we'll see it right here. One juke, he overcommits, and I get the easy goal to the other side. Right here you can see a little bit easier. Here I am setting up, kind of getting into that blind spot right here. He's looking back, but even then I'm directly behind, and he commits. I make one hard step right there, back into his vision, and he commits hard that way. And then I cut right behind. He's already committed. Again, I know I can just read his movements essentially. When I bite this way and I see his momentum beginning to go one way, I immediately counter and go opposite and get the easy goal to the cone right there. So in order to show this move a few more times and different varieties of this move, I've taken a couple clips that I've pulled from the internet of players that I know that use this move effectively. And this is taken from Nethercut's Callahan video, and Nethercut is a master of this move and handler moves in general. So we're going to play this clip, and we'll see right here the defender's mistake is that, once again, he's not squared up with the offender, the person he's guarding. Ideally, in a perfect world, his body is squared up with Nethercut's and he's shuffling from side to side. But because Nethercut has begun his cut, the defender commits his hips to run essentially beside Nut right here, and all it's going to take is Nut to just put on the brakes a little bit, again find that blind spot. Nut's essentially going to try to cut right behind the defender right here, and right there you can see the defender is no longer has sight of where Nethercut is cutting to, and because Nethercut stopped his cut, the defender is going to assume that he did that to cut backwards into this area. But Nut, again, is just going to read the defender's momentum. Going to see him take one step this way. Nethercut's going to decide to counter again and get free open here. And you can see it works very, very well. So the more videos I make, the more this is just going to be an Anders Youngst fan page. He just does so many great things and is an easy player to give textbook examples of how to play. And right here again, Anders is going to take advantage of this defender's mistake, and the defender is facing the thrower once again instead of facing the person that he's guarding. And he's essentially again gifting this blind spot, or gifting his back to Durs to take advantage of. And Durs, once again, is just going to attack his blind spot, similar to the other clips that we've seen, and gets free for a very easy reset. Here it is in slow motion right there, giving his momentum all the way to the other side. The defender, once again, is turned around, cannot see where Durs is cutting. The last thing he saw was Durs moving this direction, so he's going to try to follow suit. As soon as Durs sees his defender commit, he's just going to break down and gets free very easily for that nice reset right there. So here is a good example of this move being used downfield in the cutting space. This is a short clip I was able to find from Connor Russell's Callahan video. And it's, like I said, it's short, so we can't exactly see how this initial cut developed. But Connor is making an undercut, and the defender is chasing. So right now, the defender is doing nothing wrong in particular, but Connor's going to use a really nice Olay move here and sort of jump out of the way backwards as his defender is still running forwards. So we'll see this nice little hop right there, jumping backwards, and again, there we see, instead of the defender facing the person he's trying to guard, his back is to him. And Connor, once again, is in a perfect position to read his defender's momentum and counter it. So as soon as the defender takes a step, Connor's going to plant. And once again, the defender is completely turned around, and Connor's going to get this wide open under right here. And like I said, it was a short clip, so we can't see it develop into a reception. But yeah, I thought that was a really unique way of using that move downfield. And next we have, you guessed it, another move by Anders Youngst. In this example in particular, I want to cover the mistake that the defender makes here. And again, it's easier said than done, but essentially Anders is going to make his initial move to this open side cone right here. And initially the defender plays it decently well. Again, it's hard to keep up with a player as quick as Anders, but he's going to keep up pretty well initially until he overcommits his hips right here. And even here, he has to recognize that this is still the break side space, and that hopefully he can be afforded to have a small window there that the mark is taking away, to where he doesn't have to worry about being leaving Anders open by a huge amount. But instead, he really tries to overcommit and get back to Anders as quickly as possible by digging his right foot in and essentially facing his hips towards the thrower here, where I would really love him to chop down his feet and keep his hips facing towards Anders. But again, you're going to see instead he chops down and is now facing the thrower. And again, like we've seen so many times before, his back is facing Anders. Anders has all that to work with, and he can essentially just turn this defender all the way around. Well, again, we'll see it in slow motion right here. Right here, again, it's easier said than done, but he decides to commit his hips all the way right here, gets turned around, and as soon as Anders sees the defender take one step this way, he's going to bust and gets the defender all turned around. Easy score to the goal. And I wanted to find one last clip of this move being used downfield to prove that it can be used both in the downfield and the handler space. This clip, and as well as the clip previous, was Elliot Eriksson, a really shifty player that's really creative with his cutting patterns. So Elliot is out in isolation making a cut, makes his first move here. Again, easier said than done, but the defender is facing the thrower right here instead of kind of being parallel with the cutter. Elliot's going to take one move right there, getting into the off. He's going to find the defender's back right there. Again, the defender just saw him make a move this way and can no longer see Elliot. I would really like him to be faced towards the cutter here. But as you can see, he takes two steps downfield. Elliot sees him make that move, comes under for an easy under. Here we'll see it one more time in slow motion. So that's the video, and that is the blind spot trick. So yeah, let me know if you guys like this, and again, if you have any other suggestions for other videos you'd like to see, yeah, just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks, guys.